Time I did that, or was it the time before last, we thought we were live for a good 22 minutes, me and my guest, and then realized we were not live. So it was like Groundhog Day, and we did it again.
Technology.
I know. And this was past Mercury retrograde, so it's just me making an error. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Kevin, the Healing Medium. Welcome. And I have a super special guest. I just found out that we have something in common. And that is, actually, I'm not going to tell you. You can tell us in the comments if you feel like playing this game, what do Johnny and I have in common? And it's separated by 3 days. That's your clue. Anyways, Johnny, Tarotsapprentice, thank you for being here. I reached out.
Thank you for having me.
You said yes, so that's a real treat. I was excited. So we are going to get to some personal questions a little bit later, but I'll ask that you just hold the questions till I'll put up the banner at some point, and we will take some questions, because you know me, I get sidetracked, and I like to focus on my guest, especially the first time that, oh, look at, see squirrel moment. It's Gemini. Patricia, you got it. I mean, we have some psychics in the chat room.
We're the gym club.
It's so good. Yes, and we have the same shirt. It's true.
What's on your necklace?
I have two. I have actually a cross with emeralds, which is my birthstone. And then I have 3 of the talisman stamps. The owl.
Now I need to put on a cross then.
Oh, there you go. Matchy. I forget. Owl. Oh yeah, the little scissors. And I'll go cross-eyed if I look at that one. I don't remember. I'll have to look. But thank you for being here, Johnny. It's a pleasure. And for those of you that don't know, Johnny has his own YouTube channel. I'm sure you already know this, Tarotsapprentice. It's in the description. Check it out. His information is also in there, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But I got all of his info in the description box. And so, speaking of your YouTube channel, when did you start that, and kind of the why behind it?
4 years ago.
Oh.
Actually, I've just come to find out it was 4 years ago. And well, I've been on YouTube for like 11 years, but I did not have a tarot channel. And so I started this 4 years ago because of who our president was at the time. And I did one reading thinking, this would be neat to do because I have cards, I got a camera, let's go. And so I did, and here I am now.
Well, happy YouTube anniversary.
It's coming up.
YouTube, that's amazing. 4 years. So the draw, I mean, that seems like it was the draw for a lot of people getting into it, was the concerning times of what was going on, and still.
No, I will admit though too that it was more entertainment purposes for me. I mean, as bad as he was, he did not bother my whole soul and spirit like that. I was not concerned. I mean, I just wasn't. You go through things in life, and then you realize what to be concerned with and what not to be. And so, or what not necessarily not to be concerned with, not to let some things bother you to the point where you get no sleep.
Yeah.
And so that didn't happen for me. So I was okay. So it was really just supposed to be fun, and it still is. That's all I really did it for.
Yeah.
Very frivolous. I'm not that deep. I said that all.
I think I beg to differ. I think that was pretty deep, and that's the thing. It's relatable too. And the teaching moment in what you just said is that we have the choice around things. As hard as it can be, we still have opportunity around how we choose to ultimately, in some way, feel about it. So, and that can be complicated and takes something, but we do have that ability. Why and when tarot? Like, had you always read tarot? Had you read it before?
I hate to sound very Maya Angelou-ish, but I don't think I chose it. I think it chose me. And I've always wanted it. And I teach tarot. And one of the things that I learned from the book that I learned from was to put the cards under your pillow, and then they would seep into your conscience.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, I did that. And the next day, what I was doing is I was taking like a few cards at a time and I was memorizing them. And so the next day when I was starting to pull cards, it was familiar. Like I read it already. And I'm like, oh, there's the seeping into the conscious thing. But when I tell that to other people, they like, that didn't work for me. And so I think that this chose me. I think we were meant to be connected.
Yeah.
And so forth and so forth. So
yeah.
I didn't have a choice. It was
you had a magic pillowcase, is what you're saying.
That's what it was.
You had a magic pillowcase. That's so cool. And so you teach the tarot.
Yes.
What
Basic
like
tarot. So that people can, it's to demystify, basically. A lot of people think they can't do it because it seems like a lot. And I won't say it's not a lot, but the way it can be taught is little by little. And my number one phrase in the class is you do not have to be a master reader in 6 weeks.
Right.
You do not. You don't have to be a master reader in 60 weeks. You don't have to be a master reader in 60 years. Remain teachable, and Spirit will teach you something, whatever it is. If you think you are the best and you're the greatest and you know everything, good luck to you. But remain teachable. Spirit will always show you something. And so you do not have to be a master reader in 6 weeks. Anybody can learn it.
Have you always wanted to teach?
No. Well, let me take that back, actually. I think since I talk so much, yes, I do. Because I found myself throughout my whole life when my nieces were coming up, I always taught them stuff. And so I say yes. I'm gonna edit that and say yes. I've always wanted to teach. I just never had a thing to teach that was like this. I've always just gave people random facts of crap that I've, collected throughout the years. But yes, I have always wanted to teach.
I love that. Oh, I have to say, side note, because I watch your channel, one of the highlights is the way you shuffle.
I learned that.
You are a phenomenal shuffler. For those of you who have not seen that, I mean, go to his channel right now. I mean, take an intermission, go there and watch it because it's that good. I'm not kidding you. I think it's a little mesmerizing, to be honest. Like, I'm listening to what you're saying as well, but I'm like, I'm waiting for that shuffle.
I heard that a lot too. It was either that or it's too loud, which, it's my channel. Go somewhere else. That's all I can tell you.
There is this thing called volume, and we can adjust the volume. People tell me that all the time with my intro. So I'm like creeping it down now, but I'm like, I like things, so that I can hear them. Anyways,
yeah, it gets inside you, and that's what I wanted it to do. So it's
exactly. So backing up or wherever that looks like in your life, I'm curious when you started to become aware of your awakened abilities, your gifts. When was that? And what did it
when I got cards.
Oh.
That's when I became aware. It was when I was 20, I believe. 20 something, I don't know. That's when. And so I started, I didn't know what to call it until then. I'll say it that way. I've always known I could see this and see that, and because my whole family is psychic. My mother's side, they're more dreamers, and my father's side, they're more tools. They use crystals and blah 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 and all that. And so I've always known. I've never known it to be anything other than just what you do. Everybody did it. Everybody could do it, I should say. Not that they did it. Everybody could do it. but I didn't know what to call it until later.
Yeah. So you had people growing up that were in demonstration and in the conversation about
No, because they were still religious, and so they wouldn't call it psychic, and they wouldn't call it gifts or divination or mediumship or anything like that. Those are industry terms. So they don't say those type of things. It's they had a dream about this, and it's always from God, and that's fine. But I want you to also acknowledge that you are the vessel, and therefore you are gifted as well. Not just God's walking around looking to drop quarters in the slot. So you have this is part of you. So it's not until I became older till I called it something and then didn't give a crap who cared about it.
Yeah, that's a part of it. Like in that kind of coming out, if you will, it's like, how much am I going to let other people and how much they care about it stop me from stepping into it? And that's the thing. It's like in the languaging of it, probably in reflection, we're talking about the same thing, if you will, just in different verbiage, which is great. He's deep, isn't he?
The book that I read is by Josephine. Always put an R in there. Country, sorry. Josephine, not Josephine. Josephine Ellershaw. Oh. And one of the first things she says at the beginning of the book is don't defend it. Because somebody's going to attack it. And the more you defend it, you will never be able to stop. Because somebody's going to call it wacky and crazy and and the devil and the this and the that. And you're going to sit there and have a 14-minute argument with somebody that you should not even be talking to.
Yes.
They're not open to nothing you have to say. So who are you trying to convince? Nobody. Talking to the wall at that point. Don't defend it. Just do it. They have their opinion. Let them walk away with it. The end.
I needed to hear that. And I think some other people needed to hear that as well. It's a great reminder. Yeah, where we get to place our energy. And sometimes, I mean, I'll speak for myself, I've chosen to place it on the one person that had this to say versus the 99 other people that had this to say. It's in the humanness of it. It happens.
That was one of my YouTube recommendations when I first started, was because a lot of people who were new to YouTube made videos about negative comments or trolls. And I'm like, don't do that, because you didn't make a positive video about the 99 other people.
Right.
Saying all the great things about you. Even if it was, I like your tablecloth or whatever. You didn't make a video about that, but you made a whole 15-minute rant about people you don't like. So don't do that.
Yeah. I'm writing all this down. Take notes, y'all. So in that, I'm curious, and maybe you answered this already. I was trying to listen to what you were saying. But if you looked at your gifts, have you recognized where it sounds like they've enhanced your life? Have you looked at it and ever had challenge with them? Like, has it always been easy or?
Nothing except mediumship.
Oh, okay.
And it's this. Now, mind you, I always say I don't watch the close your eyes psychic that I'm getting and I'm hearing type thing, because I like tools. I like visualizations. I do like mediumship readings though. But the problem, this I know what the Four of Wands means. And I can establish a meaning and I can attach something to it because it's a tool, something in my hand. When I do just get hits, or if I'm doing mediumship, I feel like I'm making it up.
Oh, yes.
It's just info dashed into me and I have to throw it out there. And so I feel like I'm making it up. So I do the evidentiary mediumship where you have to give me something.
Yeah.
Tell you white picket fence or had a blue sweater on or something. I have to say something to where they attach to something for me to understand, okay, I'm not making up. I actually am hearing your whoever. And so it's hard for me to move my own ego out of the way, myself, my conscious self, my fleshy self out of the way in order to be used for mediumship. So that is still my hurdle. Not to mention in the beginning, I didn't want to talk to dead people. And then I did a reading and they basically said, so The dead people are on the other side of the veil. Where do you think we are? And so it's like, oh, so I am talking to people over there anyway. So, I mean, take a potato at this point. What do you think? So just, I'm learning to trust, and that's the hard part.
Yeah, because there's that, I mean, and that's the foundation of this work in it. And the imagination part is so instrumental in it, and our ability. I mainly do mediumship, and so in that there are times where it's like, yeah, if I stopped and paused, it'd be like, oh my gosh, this feels like all of my imagination. And I too, I need the evidence, I need the validation. And it's not about the being right, it's about, it brings me deeper into that connection. And in that, I do fully, I stand further and further away, because a part of it, and it sounds like this might be a part of it for you, is that we're skeptical, and skeptical in a healthy way, until we establish we've got this link with a loved one, before you really are in the essence of who they are and the deeper messaging that's coming through. So I love that, Johnny. Amazing. He does this full time, by the way.
Name it and claim it. Yeah.
Totally. He does this full time. So if you are feeling drawn, which I feel like many of you will, reach out to him to work with him one-on-one. And so I guess, I think I already asked this, but professionally you started reading, would that be 4 years ago or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because at that point I had no person to read for except me, because there was nobody in my life who either thought it to be a serious thing, thought it wasn't evil. And so I basically just read for myself, and then crap that I would see. But once YouTube hit, then there was like people outside of my circle who understood this, because they were drawn to it in the first place. And so, yeah.
You prompted another question in that, is how do you find actually reading for yourself?
Easy. It depends on what it is, because I can not be attached. I know how to do that, because I always say this, and it is true. It sounds harsh, but it is true. I don't really have feelings like that. I'm an air sign, so I tend to be more logical than emotional. And so I don't pour my emotions into my own issue. When I do, then I cannot read for myself.
Oh, I love that.
I'm having that issue actually right now. And I need to know if I should take a trip that I want to take. And I pull a card, and the 9 out of 10 are positive and 1's negative, and then my mind just goes haywire. And so once the emotions step in, once that fleshy self steps back in, then I'm disconnected and I can't do it. So,
then it's like shuffle and redo it.
And I did, and then I tortured myself, so I stopped.
Interesting. Okay. I'm curious if at all, if grief has played a part of your spiritual journey.
No. I was still am. I'll always say was. I was a preacher.
Oh.
I still am. Preacher's just traveling teacher. But I was never a pastor, so I never had a church. I was never stationary. And when you are in a field where you have to deal with a lot of people, you can't take on a lot of. I'm not a traditional empath. I don't feel people's pain at all. And therefore my own is also goes by the wayside very fast, to the point to where I question, like my mother died, and she was like the most important person in my world at the time. And I grieved for like 2 weeks and nothing after that. I'm like, life goes on, we move on, blah, blah, blah. I was actually even a little slightly happy about it, because she was suffering for so long. And then I'm like, okay, well, now she's fine. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Aren't you supposed to like cry and go to therapy and get, something? No. Done, over with. So I don't really process. I guess I process grief just differently, because I kind of have to, because other people need you to do something for them, and I do live a life of servitude. So, okay.
Wow.
Be grounded and non-emotional.
I'll skip to that one. So, because that's one of the questions that I have for you is how do you stay grounded? What do you do in that practice?
See, I'm not that deep, so I wish I had a nice psychic answer for you, and I don't have situations where I'm the opposite. I'm not emotional. I'm never all over the place like that. When I am, though, you just go outside.
I was going to say, I see a lot of your videos outside.
Yes, you go outside because nothing out there wants anything from you except other people. Just stay away from it. This world don't want nothing.
Can you say that again?
Nothing outside wants anything from you except other people. And so go out there and just be, exist. You're connected to it. You grow from the same planet. You get life from the same source. Go out there, be connected with it. Sit by the tree if you don't want to hug it because you might look weird. Okay, fine. Sit by it. Put your hand on it. Lean against it. Draw some of that energy into you and just keep it moving. But feel the breeze, smell the air, feel the heat, that type of thing. Those things want nothing from you. They don't want an appointment. They don't want a reading. They don't want to unburden themselves. Go out there, get you some of that energy, ground yourself back down, rejoin the living when you want to, or when you have to.
Love that. Natural born teacher. Wow. I mean, I ask this because I don't know for you what it looks like for you, but your spirit team, guides, do you identify, recognize, work with, all of that? What does it look like?
I call it SAGA, SAGA, Spirit, Angels, Guides, and Ancestors. And spirit is God, light, whatever you want to call it. Angels are your angels, those who protect you, who keep you from walking in the street. Your guides are the ones who help you be psychic. Basically, you're just a human. You don't know nothing. But because of them, you know everything, or at least you have the access to a lot of things you wouldn't otherwise. And then your ancestors are part of your bloodline. They're going to be there with you, support you, listen to you, protect you at times too. That's my kit, as I call it. That's the thing you were born with. You were born with the spirit, the angels, guides, the ancestors to make sure that you could get through life. That's part of your kit.
They came in a magic sleeping or in a magic pillowcase.
Yes.
Didn't they? Do you work with them in your readings?
Yes. Well, I work with my guide.
Okay.
In spirit. The angels and the ancestors are more for me. And my angels are more to guard my energy while I read. And then my ancestors are for something totally and completely different outside of reading.
Yeah. So it sounds like you know them intimately in that. And so for people that are looking to, I say deepen or better get to know, unveil that relationship, what tips would you give them?
Talk. Talk to them. I mean, you don't have to talk out loud if you don't want to, but talk, write it down, ask them to help you or to reveal things. Don't teach them like there's some, or treat them like there's some sort of divine thing that you don't have access to unless you stand on one foot on the full moon and hold 18 crystals in your hand. You know, I get that, people have rituals and rituals help you focus your intention. But you and spirit and God, all that existed before all that other stuff. And so if you talk to it, it will talk to you. Ask it to guide you. Ask it to lead you. Ask it to help you. Ask it to tell you something. Show me a sign that you're even listening to me.
Yeah.
Something like that. Just start there. Baby step it. You don't have to be, connected the way other people are. Just talk to it and let it talk back to you. And start to trust what you hear unless it's telling you to do something harmful.
Yeah. You mentioned ritual. Do you, if you feel like sharing, do you have any rituals around or ceremony around your spiritual practice?
That depends. That's what my ancestors are for. Because my mother's side, they did things differently. They were more hoodoo people.
Oh, okay.
And my father's side was Native American, so they were more earth magic people.
Oh,
and so I do rituals for manifestations,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about it.
Okay.
I don't do it for anything else.
I love it. Listen to all this, Johnny. Like, wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. What or who or what inspires you?
Again, I'm not that deep. I hate to give such a, you know, a shallow
Maybe your
answer.
first book or your
But
22nd book.
nothing
Mm.
inspires me because, no, I won't say that. Other readers do, because they keep this fun. Other psychics, I should say, instead of just readers. They keep this fun. They keep this light when it's not light sometimes, because people's lives are real. And so they inspire me to always want to do this. That's my answer.
Yeah, and I love that, because I think that
No
element,
inspiration, because I inspire myself, but that's
I think that's a beautiful announcement to make, you know, that we can be that for ourselves. I think that's a wonderful.
my saga. That's my inspiration.
Yes.
You know, if I need something, get it from them.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the fun. I love the lightness around it, with things that can be really heavy and yet very, very natural. And none of us are necessarily separate from those experiences that can be the grief and the upset and the challenge. And in that, you know, bringing a sense of humor and fun around it can really be the medicine as well. So I love that. You talked about the grounding. What's your favorite tarot deck or your favorite deck?
It's my favorite star in the sky. It's called the Elemental Wisdom Tarot.
Okay.
And I like it because it's diverse. And it's bright and shiny, and I like shiny things. I have 268 tarot decks, so it's kind of
True story.
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
268.
Wow. What's your most recent deck?
The One World Tarot by Lena Rodriguez and Sienna Rose, Metaphysical.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. All right, so we are going to get to some questions. I will put that up here, but as people are putting in some questions, and I will star those. If people are looking to reach out to you, as far as I want to talk about the store, your online store is, maybe I'm calling it wrong, but tell us about that.
There's a Teespring store with t-shirts. I didn't make any of them. I didn't design any of them. Another reader did. I do not have any creativity in me whatsoever to do that type of thing. And she did, and God bless her forever, because I would have never got it done. But it's under the channel. It's attached to YouTube. Teespring is partnered with YouTube, so it's attached to that. If you go on your telephone, it'll be there. That's the only store that I have.
Perfect. All right. And I did actually put that link in the description box as well for people. Do you have a card deck yet, or am I just getting it?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't know how to draw, and so I can't.
That'll happen
until I get the right artist, I guess.
I have a feeling there will be several, and I see you writing a book.
It's in my chart too.
Well,
in my astrology.
Wonderful. And sorry, please. Oh, I think that's a question for somebody else. I think it was, because neither of us are in California. So, all right. And yes, if you put your questions in the beginning, I did not star them. So if you could put them back into the chat with caps and emojis and all that wonderful stuff, we'll have time for a few questions. And I'm just gonna start a few. When are you? Can you tell us what you the shows that you kind of do regularly on your channel?
It's no. Yesterday, I was going to do a reading. My channel is 80% political But I have various interests, therefore I read on what I want to instead of just what's in the headlines. I've done readings on butterflies, for goodness sake. So it's, you do what you want to do. It's YouTube, make it fun, leave it fun. The stream I did yesterday was supposed to be readings. We were going to do, the topics of the world. And I spent 2 hours and 47 minutes talking. And nobody asked me a single question. And we just chitted and chatted. I talked about people like a dog, and it was fun. That's what I do. I do random things. There's no plan. There's no schedule. There's no agenda. I just turn on the camera and go.
I love this.
I talk too much. So there you go.
You do show, someone's saying, Gina Emma saying, Johnny does shows on walking and late night cooking.
Oh God, don't mention that.
There.
We call it cooking.
All right. Okay. So I've got a bunch of questions. Thank you so much for your questions. I will probably close it because we definitely won't get to all of them. If Johnny feels inclined to return, we'll skip the question part and we'll go straight into, or we'll skip the question part, me asking the questions to him, and we will do more questions. But it's a pleasure to have him here, so thank you. I just wanted to put this here. Darlene says, Johnny is a talented teacher of Tarot. I highly recommend his course. He's organized, knowledgeable, and fun. And
Thank you, darling.
Deep, very deep. See, deep, that's what the D stands for. So there you have it. Actually, when is your next course?
Next year. I was going to do one sooner, but the holidays are coming, so I'll just start it in January.
That's a great time to start. All right, Seascape. I'm curious who turned on my bedroom light. She always has the greatest questions.
Night before last?
The night before last, before I settled down. Were you already in bed? Were you already in bed? Already in bed. I'm curious. Yes, but not sleeping. Okay.
They were curious too. There's a young man that I want to say they were almost curious, like if they could do this or not. There's a young man, maybe a Curtis, something like that. It's an interesting name too, that he may have had. But it wasn't meant to scare or anything like that, I don't believe. There's going to be also possibly some manipulation of technology in the house too. So maybe if you have a radio or something with music, a song might skip or something like that normally does not. There's also some wisdom that is going to be imparted as well. You'll either know who this person is or you'll feel comfortable with them eventually. Opened up to it, I do see that you might be a little trepidatious because it's a little odd, but don't be afraid. There's also here some messages that may come. These are people on the other sides, some messages that may come. They're part of a group or part of your not heritage, but family tree.
So perfect. You mentioned all of the words on the cards that I pulled. There is a familiarity around it. Seascape, I pulled the stranger card and he said stranger and he said Curtis. It says curiosity here. So that being a part of it, that can replace any unsettled or fear around it. The mention of your house, the tidy house, the clarity around that, it feels like other things have occurred and will continue occur. I wanted to say Kurt, will continue to occur. I do feel like you have this knowing of him already. I do feel the male energy around it. He's wanting to show you the endless possibilities within your own gifts. So he's actually teaching you. So these things are not separate from you. So there's some mirroring that's happening. And then the last card was the exposed and revealed. And it's like, and not in a creepy way. It's just like they're watching you in that, and encouraging you to be in your gifts and to explore a little bit more. It feels exciting, and I know you like this kind of stuff, so yeah, feels good. Thank you for your question. Thank you kindly. Where are we here? Brenda, thank you so much for your donation. Any message that Spirit brings forward? Absolutely.
Plan and organize. Plan, and organize. Secure something. Do not do anything, at least for the next couple months, spontaneously. Even if it's innocence or it's fine or it seems okay because you've done it like this before. This is not the time. For some reason or another, you need to plan. The Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Wands, there's plans and reliability. So something needs to be routine, because something is going to be added to where your routine will allow you to do whatever it is that may come up spontaneously. So you don't need to be in the middle of a spontaneous action, then another spontaneous thing pops in. So then you have a juggling problem, because you have the Tower here, where the Tower's not in a bad position necessarily, because the Queen of Wands is unorganized and messy. So we don't need spontaneous right now. We need reliability. There's also something here that you can secure. So like I said, there's a new something coming in that is going to add something good to your life, and you need to be in a place for it. So you need a routine, at least for the next couple months.
I love that. I pulled the leadership card, and I feel it goes along with what Johnny was saying about, because it's interesting. I'll show you the next card, which is the Dove card, which is the energy of like taking that leap of faith. But the leadership card came first, and it feels like the invitation for you to just really be in this moment before you take that leap of faith. So it feels like, and then I'll show you the other cards that I got. It feels like some stuff within the organization. Before you take that leap of faith, you're in the leadership of that. There's a couple of other things which are curious to me around opening your heart in relation to your friendship or relationships. So there's something in that plays along with this. It's kind of like I feel like you're in this holding kind of pattern, if you will, that feels really good. It doesn't feel like resistance. It feels like they're encouraging you to be in that, to stay in that a little bit longer before this movement that's going to occur. So in that, there's something about the heart and friendship, an aspect of that around it. I'm going to actually say what I'm hearing is an element of boundary around it for you. So I don't know if it's a new project, endeavor, something, but they're acknowledging you being in this kind of idle before the floodgates open. So hopefully that resonates for you, Brendan. Thank you for your donation. So kind. Where are we? A love question. Can 57-year-old hermit expect any love in the next year or so? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is so funny. I heard get your butt in gear. Get your butt in gear. Do it. Get your butt in gear. And yes, I mean, it doesn't get much more direct than that, Patricia. Yes. I feel like your participation, it's the purification card. You have been purified. And in that, you are the energy of the sunflower. You're very attractive. And yes, of course, in the physicality, but also in your offerings, your heart, your spirit. And in that, you stepping into that energy, they're waiting there for you. So I'm a solid yes. I'm a solid yes.
I'm always a yes, no matter what the cards say, for two reasons. Number one, there's 7 billion people on Earth. Talk to one of them. Just say hi. And number two, the one thing I want you to do, though, because you got the Queen of Pentacles. So this is the reliable queen. This is also the nurturer. This is the person, though, who nurtures more nature than they do people. So I don't want you to keep to yourself, unless you're going to be the mailman or Amazon man, the people who come by all the time. Then you have to venture out and do something different. Two of Wands is potential, which means love is always there. But I want you to make a friend first, and then look for love second. The Page of Cups and the Emperor. Look for the friend first and then the love second. However, do not keep to yourself. The 10 of Wands is a burden. The 10 of Wands is not a burden you cannot carry. It's a burden you cannot carry this way, which means it's telling you to do something different. You got the strategy card, 7 of Cups or 7 of Swords, and the 3 of Cups, celebration. Go out and do something you didn't do yesterday. If you do the same thing that you did yesterday, you're going to get the same thing you did yesterday. And so with the Magician, you have the skill, you have the power, you have the talent, you have the inner fortitude, you got all the tools. So this is not a question of if, it's just a question of do.
Yeah.
Just like Kevin said, just do it.
I pulled one more card, and it is to echo that surrender, which is the release. And that's the energy of Archangel Michael assisting you in this. So there is an aspect of the release and then just stepping into it. And in other terms, like get your butt in gear is what I'm getting. So
You're told don't be stubborn.
Yeah. Don't forget to send us invites to the wedding. We'll be there. She lives in Australia, which
you're giving me a good excuse to go.
Right, there you go. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your question, Patricia. Juanita Dempsey, any message from my husband? Juanita, are you still here? If you are here, if you could let us know, please. Oh, yep, they are here. Perfect.
So it's more of a joke than it is. It's like don't worry about the leaky faucet, which means don't worry about stuff that you don't need to do. Don't adopt the save the world syndrome, because everybody's problem is no longer yours. And I say no longer yours instead of not yours is because you felt this way for some time. There's also someone that you might be separated from rather suddenly, and you may feel some sort of heartbreak over that. That is also a perspective he would like it to change. The Chariot is also getting yourself back into alignment, putting the pieces that seem to repel each other, putting them back together. Do not defend yourself against some overbearing or some woman here who is very stuck in their way. They don't want you to constantly defend. It raises the blood pressure, and that is not something that you need to do right now. I heard something about sweet peas. I don't know why, but I'm going to say it to you anyway. The person here, it may be hard for you to walk away from people because you feel as though you shouldn't, but there's the message. They want you to. You have to preserve yourself.
Mm.
You have to. It's an order. Don't worry about the leaky faucet. Stop trying to fix everybody's problems. Stop trying to fix things that you don't need to.
Mm. Great message. It kept making me go like this. So as I'm feeling into the energy, it was like, and that's it. I don't know. This is kind of obscure, but the Carol Burnett doing that thing with her ear. So it kept tugging my ear, and I was aware of a few things. There was a call back to nature for you. So they showed me Johnny on his walks doing the nature thing, where there's no expectation of you having to do. It's just the state of being. So he's bringing you outside. He was making a significance around the month of March being important. A little obscure, but was an awareness about your car. So just making sure that you get your car serviced. I could smell the, I don't know if you sit in ceremony, burn sage, but there felt like this cleansing. I could smell the sage. So something around the smudging ceremony is what I'm hearing. And the couple of cards that I pulled, the teachability, the hollow bone, and then the root girl, which is the disowned self. And in that, it's the energy of just feeling into it, the absence of him in this physicality, which has left you with that feeling of, the disowned and the hollow. But what he's bringing through as the message is that he's still teaching you. And I know you know that, and it looks very different, but he wants you to be in that energy where he continues to teach you. And that's coming from his perspective and his offering. So if you're open to that, still be in his teachings. And that has to do with the communication that you are still having with him and will always have. So that is your connection. So I'll leave you with that. And thank you for your question. There we go. Thank you, Juanita. Are you still a preacher?
You can never not be. It wasn't your choice. This is what I need you to do. Okay.
Yeah, I love that. This is one. I love the animals. Lise, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I apologize if I'm not. Lise, what is my power animal? What I will share about that is that I think they can change in this moment. I will share what I'm bringing through. Oh, how curious. So as I'm feeling into this, it's completely black. I can't see anything. And all of a sudden I could see these eyes open, and they were brilliant yellow. And I was like, okay, what are you? And it's the energy of the Black Panther that's working with you in this moment. And it's that energy of like stealth and like kind of strategic and planned, if you will. And in that, there's a strength to it. So call upon that medicine of that Black Panther to assist you. The energy is assisting you with what you are experiencing. And so, call upon that energy. It will continue to assist you and be that pillar of strength for you. So.
Strength, power, and security. It's also something considered exotic, and it is also something that to our eye is genderless. So it's kind of like you can tell the difference between male and female lion, but not so much male and female leopard or black leopard or panther.
Beautiful.
Makes sense to me.
That's a good energy. There you go. And I'm hearing, and whoever else needed to work with that, the energy and the medicine of that Black Panther, call upon that. So that was beautiful. All righty. And I'm just going in no particular order, where Spirit's kind of calling me to push the button. I'm not fully even reading the question. Prince Charming's mom would love a message from Spirit. Absolutely. Oh, it's in the music, Diana. That's wonderful. It's such a good book. Sensitive is the New Strong, been so helpful. So I'm so glad. Prince Charming's mom.
Talk to Spirit more. There is a lot, well, not a lot. I don't want it to sound like it's a burden, but there's a lot that you can do. There's also some gifts that you have that they also want you to start to develop. You get the magician. Magician has all the skills in the world. However, in this card too, well, not however, also, in one hand holds the scroll. The scroll points towards the heavens. This finger points towards the earth. That means they are the vessel between heaven and earth, as above, so below. They are the vessel. You have all the tools in the world. You have the Fool card here with that magician. The Fool is someone the rest of the world sees as unprepared until you get to the Magician card and you realize you had everything you needed. So just step out on faith. You have a lot of tools. You have the High Priestess. High Priestess knows everything. But so that means that on the inside of you, it just wants you to draw it out. There may be some trepidation about that, though, with the Page of Swords. For whatever reason, you may not want to step in certain particular gifts, which is why Spirit, Guide, Source, God, whatever you call it, is saying talk to them more. You need to become comfortable with that part of yourself that you are trying to shun or that you don't understand. And so you need to spend a little more time in the presence of the divine to be a little more comfortable with you being the vessel.
I love that. My ears started to ring, Prince Charming's mom. So they're bringing my awareness to the clairaudience. So the being aware of that might be a new layer of how they're working with you. So an attention to the clairaudience. There's this feeling of like closing the door. It feels like the book has been closed, the door has been closed to a chapter that now you're in this new transitional phase. And it's really great cards. So the first one is the Willow of the Wisp, and it's the as I feel into this one, it's the things that are kind of dark and shadowy can sometimes present because of what we've attributed to through some of the conditioning, that when we consider replacing the fear with more curiosity comes the joyful muse. It's like that is where the inspiration is. It's like the angel numbers 3. It's like on the other side, and you've heard me say this before because they say it all the time, on the other side of fear is the joy. And sometimes it's the fear that kind of the illusion and the masks that kind of present as something to be fearful of, when we step into it. And of course we have to be safe and discerning in that. And you are, okay, it's the last card, which is the limitless possibilities. So, yeah, the stars in the sky. So you just being in that energy feels really good in this new chapter, if you will. So feels good. I love it. And talk about changes. 55. There you go. You needed a little extra. 55, all about the changes. Number 5. I already answered that one. I have not seen this name before, I don't think. Linda Kelzer, a message from Spirit, please. Sure thing. Sure thing. Linda, would you would you understand fatherly, dad in spirit? I'm aware of a fatherly energy. A September connection and the M name connected, if that's fatherly energy. Go ahead, Johnny.
You are at war with yourself, and they want you to stop it. And this is a wagging the finger moment. The Queen of Swords has experienced life, the ups and downs, the hardships, all that type of stuff. And the Two of Swords can lead the Queen of Swords to be very jaded about things coming their way. And then you have the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords and the Six of Swords. The swords are mental. They're also air, which means they move faster and more swift and in different places, different strengths. They're all over the place. They're up and down. Don't be at war with yourself. And if you are at war with yourself, stop it. That's it.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's so great. I think it echoes the aspect of letting go, with the in the duality of that, the receiving. And so I do feel it's Dad's energy that's coming through to just remind you of that. So in that kind of, and sometimes that can just be in our mental, that we tug a war with kind of the back and forth in that contemplation. So there's this energy from Dad coming through to letting go, to let something in. You know what I mean? It's like there's only so many. It's like he's showing me the calendar, and there's only so many days in the week, in the month, in the year. So in that, sometimes we have to let go of something in order to let something in. And in that, there is an aspect of relationship that plays into this in some way. And you don't have to go into detail about that, but just consider the aspect of relationship in that letting go and then receiving. There you go. All right, so we're just about in an hour, so we will do one more, and then we'll have to make Johnny come back.
Just let me know.
Would be wonderful. Okay, we already did that one too. It's so funny how I sometimes go to the same one. I should unstar them. I'm sorry. And where we go. Okay, let's go to this one. I have not seen this name, I don't think either. Amy, I won't try and say your last name. Do I have any psychic abilities? If so, what are they? Well, the answer is yes. We all do. So you are in the club, and let's get a little more specific around that.
As I say, it's something you're born with. It comes with the kit. You're all connected the moment your eyes open. You just have to realize what it is. That's all. Yeah. Call it something. Give it a name. Start also too. This just not in the cards. It's just something I'm saying. Start with an oracle deck too, Oracle decks are really good for opening intuition. If you want to get your tarot deck. What are they? I'm going to go with. Now this is a journey, mind you. We have the Chariot. The Chariot is self-discipline. That means it also takes a minute too. So do not try to be master psychic in 6 weeks. But I'm going to say has something to do with heritage. This is something that has been in your family. This is also you speaking to other people's families here with the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is spirituality as well. And so there is a connection for mediumship inside you too. The 7 of Cups, there's also something to do with, what do you call that? With the water, and you can look into water. And is that the scrying? Or is that, I don't know. But there's something to do with staring into things that are fluid. So you can also use things that are in great number. So this might be casting bones, casting crystals, casting leaves, casting something to where you can read a pattern. You may not get it right now, but this is why I said the Chariot is here. So this is something that can develop. The 9 of Wands takes a lot of work. So just don't see it as work, see it as a journey, as an adventure. Like, this is fun. This is great. Now I know where to start and I got something to work towards. So I'm going to say mediumship number 1. And also something to do with casting and water and fluid.
Yeah. So perfect. I mean, the timing couldn't be better is what I keep hearing, and you answering the call. So just stepping into it. So just being in the knowing that you are of those abilities. You're not separate, and it's more about, they're saying it's more about the unveiling than it is you like acquiring something that you're not already with. And in that, your potential is vast, because I was getting hits on, I was seeing the pendulum, and then they were drawing my attention to your hands. So there's something energetically, it might be the hands-on, the Reiki, something with your hands. You just being secure in that and in the flow goes with kind of answering the call. So now is the time. And it's a process, and that's the thing, the muscle memory behind it, the security, the kind of trust, that it's not linear, and there will be moments where it can look very different, but you are not separate from those abilities. So really, now feels like a really great time to step into it. The discipline and practice of it, it's not going to happen overnight, they're saying. So yes, there will be some obviously natural ability that you will bring to it, and there will be some learning that you will that it will take a bit of the practice and the discipline. So feels good. All the best. All the best.
Like your first card says, embrace it.
What's that?
Like your first card said, though, embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, embrace it. Now is the time. All righty. Johnny's information is in the description. I want to thank you for saying yes, for being here, being a wonderful guest, like top notch.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Some deep stuff. I took some notes, I will say. I took some notes. But truthfully, it was a pleasure. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to leave a comment after the live is over. I've got a contest. I hit 5,000 subscribers, so I'm doing a free giveaway for a reading that I'll schedule this year with you. So if you are interested in that, reach out, leave a comment. There's an email as well. Also, one of the upcoming workshops I have is the breath work workshop with the breathwork expert KYLA, which is happening on Saturday the 22nd. That info is also in the description. We still have a bit of room in that one if you're interested. It is a free workshop, 2.5 hour container, super exciting. So if you're interested in the breath, then join us in that. And Johnny, thank you so much. If there's anything else you'd like to end with.
Not a thing. Thank you for inviting.
Good. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again. Bye for now.